All right, good morning, bright and early. Here we are, a walk-in cooler that's 32 degrees, that wasn't running outside, hasn't been running all night, yet it's 32 degrees because she's bleeding by. I got some super trickery for you today. Haha, let's go. Smell it, right? What I'm cooking up, but I'm actually going one step weirder. So I got to replace the valve in the coil. I'm not going to remove the old valve in the evaporator. I'm going to put a forever magnet on it. So it's in here. It's torched in really tight. I could untorch it, put the new one in. It's not that, how you actually would do this very more traditionally, I'd kill it. I'd pull this bottom pan completely off. Since I've got a coupler, it's easy. That gives you access. So you pull this panel off, pull the pan off. Now I can torch it out, clean it up, torch the new one in. Why? I'm gonna put a forever magnet on that coil. That coil, for those who didn't watch the previous video, is weeping by, right? So this box maintains about 33 degrees, never running outside, because it's always weeping by and it's a little cooler. So yeah, but look, we got ice forming, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go outside so I don't have to torch. There are sprinklers in here, which are my favorite, but I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna hook my gauges up. I'm gonna pump this unit down. I'm gonna close the valve. I'm gonna pump this unit down. Then we're gonna cut this right here, put my new solenoid right here, run my wires out to it, pull a vacuum, bada bing. All right, I just removed the solenoid that was there, which there's nothing wrong with that solenoid coil. I threw my magnet on it to open it up. Now we're gonna go outside. I have it off outside for a reason, and I'll show you. All right, so it's early in the morning. Oh, and it's funny, look at that, instantly froze up. It's early in the morning, it's drizzly, it's a crappy day. Saturday morning, I didn't get out here yesterday like I wanted to, but I have the power off there, and I have the liquid line shut down. So, we don't have enough pressure on it. When we turn it on, it's not gonna run. All right, so now when I force this guy to run, this is gonna pull down, right? And boom, we're in a vacuum. I'm actually gonna close the suction side valve now also, so that when I pull my vacuum, I'm not pulling it against the compressor, that I'm pulling it against both valves. And then we're ready to go inside. All right. Cover it. Clean it, deburr it, make sure that's done. Pay attention, there is a flow direction on your valve. And then she's gonna drop right in there. All right, let me talk about this for a second. I just put nitrogen on the system, okay? So we're gonna come in here and leak check. I've got about 200 pounds on the high side and 100 pounds on the low side. I've had no drama with these things leaking, and I hesitate to say that before I finish my leak check, but it's just the way it's been. I don't, there's all trains of thought. Everybody is different. I know one huge train of thought is this is a cop-out, right? Well, you don't have to be a technician anymore because torching, you should have to put a good torch. I can torch this out. I can torch a new one in. But at the same time, let's give options to owners and be like, hey, no torching supplies, no messing with the sprinklers in this box. It is different what I've done. I could have put this in here with slips, but either way, I'm bringing the torches in. So if you're bringing the torches in, let's go. And then you risk, are you gonna damage the stem when you torch and all this stuff? So if you don't like my approach, okay, no worries. Like, I'm a hack, goodbye. But I'm also gonna be in and out of here way quicker than had I brought in the torches. So we're gonna pressure check the other seals. I'm gonna get a vacuum pulling on this guy. I don't need to energize this because what it is this is closed now. So we're hooked up outside, we're gonna pull from both sides. So we're just vacuuming from here out that wall to the shutoff, and then through the evaporator, through the TXV, and out the suction line to the shutoff. So I'm gonna get the vacuum running, and then we'll do all the wire management and stuff. Oh, but we were gonna talk about the dielectric grease. Look at these connections. I don't know if you can, it's too dark. All right, look at these connections, how they're corroded, right? And they're not good. And the old, let's see, where's the old solenoid I took off? Here it is. Sorry guys, bear with me. Look at those wires, they're not great because they were in Wagos in a moist environment, right? Everything's sweating. So they were in a moist environment and they got corroded. So I brought my new Wagos in lines. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a dollop of dielectric grease in the connector, and then we're gonna seat our wires, lever them down, dielectric grease on both sides and on the access port right there. And then they're not gonna be affected by moisture anymore. It's a conductive grease. It's pretty great. And if you're doing Wagos outside on like condensing units and stuff, you should use this at all your connections. It just prevents the rusting and the breakdown, unless you want to come back for another service call, because why not? Use that. All right, man, rolling. So this is what I love about this vacuum pump. Okay, one, we're pulling on a tiny system, so this isn't going to take long. This is what I call the power maker. So this allows me to clip into the always hot sections of that, and I alternate them so that they can't touch. And then the vacuum pump does 110 or 240. So we're running on 240 right now. So we are vacuuming, baby. So we're gonna leave that to run for a little while. We're gonna shoot down to, already we're getting there. We're gonna shoot this thing down to less than 500 microns. Somebody told me at training that the new standard is like 250. Is that right? I mean, I should be able to pull this thing down to nothing, to be honest. But, so I'm gonna go inside and do the wire management while this is going. All right, let's check. A very note to self, if you've never used dielectric grease when you start, you have to use less than you think. Because I want you to realize, if you've got grease coming out the end of that, that's electrified. If you've got grease coming out both of them, that's electrified. You strap them together, you're gonna short out. So just FYI, don't put a bunch, just a little dab in the hole or on your wire. Make your connection that way. Let's go check where we're at. All right, it's literally only been 5 minutes, which we know isn't gonna get you there, but you're already at 1,000. So we're just gonna let her run. Keep pulling her down. All right, I still have the unit off outside, but I turned it on in here so that it would open this solenoid, and it did. I heard it click. So that now we're just pulling on one continuous system. It's all open. We've not separated high side from low side. All right, I've got this opened up. She pulled down to 400 microns, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger at that. So I have released the pressure. Okay, the inside is on and the solenoid is open, which is why our pressures are the same. And theoretically, when we do this, I've also disconnected my power maker, just FYI, so I don't have to reach back in there again. All right. Head pressure goes up, suction pressure goes down. She was flashing when I was here a few days ago, so I know it's gonna need some gas. This is actually probably going to satisfy pretty quick because this is an oversized system for that little room. That's what they put in. Solid. And I actually want to see it satisfy because this time when it satisfies, I want to see my suction go to 0 and stay there. Adding right now. Almost there. Hear the sound change too? That's weird. Isn't related. This is the first one. I walked in here and it was 37 and it wasn't calling anymore. And then from me opening the door, it's back to 41. So it's set to satisfy at 36. It's gonna do it pretty quick. So I'm gonna go wait outside this time so when it pumps down, I can verify that the solenoid is closed all the way and we're pumping down to 0. Alright, and the pump down is on. Put these panels on. Let's see if it pumps down and actually pumps down. All right, so here's the check, right? So the system shut off, so it's sitting at 5.2. If I take that pressure off of there, does it rebuild? No, it does not. So now the solenoid's actually closed. I'm not gonna go any lower than that, but because I don't want to get atmosphere in. But now the solenoid is actually closed. There's nothing weeping through. Also, I know this to be true because the pressures, but I've been sitting in here ever since it satisfied at 36. I unhooked everything outside, came in here, it satisfied to shut off, and then it slowly went back up. Where last time it would shut off at 36 and then dive to 34 and then dive to 32. So there you go.